So the all-new Mercedes GLC has just been launched. This is really a very crucial model in the Mercedes range. It's the company's best-selling SUV. It's been away for 7 months and it's now come back in this all-new avatar. And talking to me about what this model means for the company and the luxury car market, we have Santosh Iyer, Managing Director and CEO of Mercedes-Benz India. Santosh,
thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Santosh, really an important car for you. From what I understand, 1,500 orders really shows the kind of demand there is for it.
Yeah.
Is this going to be your main kind of, let's say, volume driver for H2?
No, for sure. I think we have on the sedans, we are lucky to have the E-Class, the long wheelbase E-Class, that has been the best selling sedan and also the best selling car in our portfolio. But when it comes to SUVs, for sure, the GLC will do this job. 1,500 orders just shows the love and the wait period that the customers were just waiting for us to announce booking. So I think for sure this will continue. This was the best selling SUV in our portfolio also till end of last year. We had this gap and now I would say the star is back.
Right, star is back, Santosh. But what's interesting, to be honest, there's quite a hike in price on it. I mean, how is that justified? Customers obviously happy to pay for it. I know there's a lot of content in it. It's all new, completely new infotainment system, all the cutting edge onboard tech. But prices are going up, quite a bit.
But that's the point, when we, for example, we decided against the 200 petrols. We are now giving the 300 petrol as standard and we have gone up. Of course, with a higher engine, the efficiency is also better because that's where the technology comes into place. So there is no compromise, and here that's why we don't want to now come up with an edition where it has a couple of less features but it can be priced a bit lower. How it will help is if you now see the current GLC customer, they bought the cars at around 60 lakhs. Today when they go to the market to sell their car, I'm sure they will be able to sell it at 45, 50, which means they spent 10, 15 lakhs, enjoyed a Mercedes-Benz GLC for 3-4 years and they can upgrade to the new car. And I think that's something very important also for the luxury market to really, because otherwise it's treated as a much bigger depreciating asset. And with prices going up, the residual values are stronger. But on the other side, the prices are also going up because of exchange rate. We were at a period of 60, 70s in the earlier GLCs. Today, the euro to the rupee is 90.
And even the regulation, emissions, all that is...
So yeah, you have to pack in technology. We have to set up new lines for testing batteries, for example. So all this adds to cost. And of course, we don't want to pass on all the cost to the market. We try to optimize it. But I think at some point, definitely, the overall industry also we see is moving up. Even the mass market has moved up a lot when it comes to pricing, and the same even applies for luxury cars.
Right. Santosh, one trend I've noticed, now, with the GLC and, with other models, at least you have petrol and diesel, but we've seen multiple engine choices which used to be there earlier. They are not there now. Is it purely because of the validation costs for small volumes is making it unfeasible to do this? With every regulation change, we see a thinning of, let's say, variants, especially with engines.
I think the more than the cost is the simplicity in ordering and planning. What happens is we have always seen skewness going in and it also changes. So that adds complexity further to what we do. And today when we are really pressed on our production and supply chain, etc., it's always better to have much more simplistic lineup and then see. Does this mean we would never ever look at more options? Ideally, we would always like to do that because more options is always helpful from a customer point of view. There is some set of customers who may even want a bigger engine, much more, maybe an AMG line, for example. But then if we add complexity to deliver cars and to ensure supplies is a challenge. So it's more than the cost, it's to ensure the production processes are not under stress in today's situation.
Right, but GLC really quite a big volume model for you. So one can assume there will be an AMG, I'm sure, but could there be something like a GLC 200 also at some point?
No, not at all. Not at all. As I think our strategy is clear, we are not going to come down on the price ladder, so we don't want to disturb the lineup that we have.
So it's only up.
It's only up. So if somebody suggests us, let's more load, it's already a loaded car. Right. But if somebody says we can look into those topics, but not getting at no way, not only the GLC, even the A-Class, we won't come up with any lower end variant.
Right. So so you launch it with a base variant and not going to be lower, it'll always be higher.
Yeah.
So that's the strategy. So clear, and AMG is very much a possibility in the maybe next year or even later
AMG, we
this
have to
year.
look at the derivatives, what's globally available, what we can get. But generally, traditionally, AMGs, we then look at coupes and other body styles.
Right.
So to show a distinctive difference also between a normal SUV and a coupe, also from an AMG perspective. So that's something, but yeah, maybe not immediately, but in the later part of the year, next year maybe.
Right. And Santosh is looking at the numbers you've got for the GLC, 1500 bookings. Now, what does that mean for someone who is booking number 1500? How long would he have to wait? Because clearly it's good,
Wow.
but then what this suggests is crazy waiting periods as well.
So right now we are trying to see how fast we can deliver. We are looking at 4 months of waiting, which is not great because the calls that we are now getting in the last 2-3 days is, will I get the car for Diwali and festive? Because that's something
Right.
sentimental from it and we can understand. So, we are doing everything possible. The good thing is we have not launched this car before the production started. The production started already in June. We have our tries, our run out, we have done the, so right now it's in full production, ramp up is on. So we will be able to give much more cars there. Unlike launching cars and then, slow the production startup. So the cars are available. We start deliveries now and hopefully as much as possible we try to accelerate.
And Santosh, 2023, almost getting into 2024, you still launched a car with a diesel engine when it's moving towards petrol, which is great. Obviously, diesel, good demand.
Yeah.
Just to get your sense, how much do you think is diesel still a percentage of the total volume? So let's say for something like the GLC, what are the bookings telling you right now?
Wow, in markets like Delhi, it's a predominantly petrol. There is
Right.
a lot of fear about this, and there I can say it's as high as 80-90% will be petrols.
Right.
But when I go down south or even there it's 70-80% diesels.
Wow.
Still, markets like Hyderabad, they still prefer 70-80% diesels compared to petrols. You can see some trends, of course, consumers thinking whether to shift, but it's more prevalent where there is a legislative issue, where there is a fear that, yeah, these cars may get banned or something of that sort. But otherwise, I think from an overall mix, we are still 60-40, 60% petrols, 40% diesel.
That's a big chunk.
That's a big chunk, yeah.
You can't ignore diesel like other people.
Exactly,
have.
and when we have the technology available, where we have much lower CO2, where we are able to deliver to all the Euro 6, 7 norms with the technology, then there is no need to do away with diesel. They are very good cars, they have a different use case compared to petrol.
Correct.
So, I think we believe in all powertrains and we will continue to offer both.
Right. And Santosh, just sticking with, let's say, this particular segment size, GLC segment, is it the kind of a sweet spot? It's the best-selling SUV because combination of price to size, usability, practicality, very well-rounded, a good all-rounder. Is this really the sweet spot for a luxury SUV, or do you think GLE is also there's a lot of potential, but then it gets a lot more expensive and goes up over a crore?
No, but the kind of demand we have even seen for the GLS, we couldn't envisage it even 2 years back. That's
Right.
again selling in a lot of numbers between the GLE and the GLS. They are all in high 3-digit numbers a month, which is something unthinkable pre-COVID times there. So overall, I think there is a maturity in the market. A lot of customers in the core luxury segment really feel a much more value for money considering the size to price ratio. And therefore, also if you see the entire pyramid that we have 15% in the entry luxury, which is the GLA and the A class, and then 60% is in the core segment,
Right.
where the GLC is now, or the E class is also there, and then of course 25% in the top end. So that also is growing. We grew by 54% in H1 on the top end segment.
Right.
So that also shows
TVs,
TVs. So that shows a very clear, I think, more maturity in the segmentation of the market, at least for Mercedes-Benz.
Right, and but just coming back to the point is, I mean, so what you're saying is this is really at the center of gravity of your market, this along with the E-Class.
Exactly.
Right, and do you see some cannibalization, let's say maybe from sedans into this vehicle, because it is possible. C-Class I know it's based on it, but C-Class a lot cheaper as well. So, but do you still see people gravitating towards?
For me, I think sedan makes also a lot of logical sense from a pure sheer driving pleasure that you
Right.
get in a sedan, also rear seat comfort in a sedan.
Right.
And frankly, if I now compare a C-Class with a GLC, there is a 15 lakh rupees delta between these two car lines. So actually for a rational, somebody who loves to drive cars, sedan actually is still today, my personal preference would be towards sedan than
Right,
SUVs. But
right.
there is this growing trend that you need large body style, you need big. But the best car in the world is the S-Class. It's a sedan still.
That's
So
right.
I think sedans will be there to stay. There will be a set of customers, enthusiasts who love sedans to drive, and also the rear seat comfort on sedans. But yeah, I cannot take away the trend because that's more coming from the
But
market.
I'm just want to press you on a trend that's happening. We are seeing in Europe, especially with electrification, the sedan, just by virtue of better aerodynamics and lower drag, is sometimes a preferred body style because it really impacts your range.
Yeah.
For example, the EQS, phenomenal range, but then it's a very slippery shape. EQB, not so much because again it's a boxy. Do you see this having some impact, or do you think in India electrification is still very much an urban phenomenon for people to really value the benefit of a sleeker vehicle?
No, I think absolutely right, Hormuz. With the EQS, we have to explain, because the common question we ask is, why didn't you put the engine on an S-Class, the motor, and then why can't an EQS be an S-Class? And then we have to really explain to customers about the aerodynamicity, about what the EQS offers. So it's not a combustion engine platform where we have just put the powertrain, and that's something very unique. And this we have to do ground up when it comes to the EQS. But that is still, the matured audience understands. They understand the one-bore design, they understand the coefficient drag, they understand that you have to get more range. But the first-time buyers, they want, actually many of them are used to the larger cars. Correct. And the larger comfort, and then they feel, why just you don't plonk it and then do it.
Right.
But it's a market maturity topic. Over a period of time,
right.
We are sure consumers will appreciate why it's done so, and why it helps also for their better driving or for better range.
Right, right. So what you're saying is there is a bit of a kind of questioning happening on why EQS and not an S-Class with an electric motor,
yeah,
which some rivals have done, to be honest.
Yeah, they have done it. Also, we have to realize the EQS is, again, when you look at the pricing, an S-Class is 2 crores plus, and EQS is at 1.6 crores. So it's a 40 lakh rupees much cheaper. So it's a different value proposition. A comfort level is different on this car. We have also upgraded the EQS. I would say, I saw some of the feedback from Autocar reviews, and today the new EQS has a rear seat entertainment package now on individual seats. We have also made changes
especially
on
after
the
our
cushions,
feedback.
and there. So, and also, yeah, I think you really reflect the customer voice. We also heard our customers, and I think it's really good that we are able to understand the use case, because we started with more of a driver's car, and then we also had this, there is a large set of customers who want to be rear, and then we have now put the rear entertainment package. We are seeing customers loving it. I personally got my EQS 3 weeks back, and I keep coming back to office and telling our sales team, hey, have you seen this in the car? Have you seen? Because it's a discovery mode. And I think electric also, the more we use it, the more we will discover, the more we will learn about the car and get addicted to it. So it's a slow burn process, but it will be there, and it's a matter of time.
Right. And last question, Santosh. H2 kicked off really well. 2023, you can put your neck on, say it's going to be the best year ever. Just if we still have clear blue skies and no real unforeseen, let's say, hiccups.
The clear blue skies is something, we this geopolitical topics as well as economic topics, which is India is part of an ecosystem. So that's something which always gives us a bit of, not the best stomach feeling. But on the other side, if I look at order intake, if I look at the kind of response for a new car, I think this should be another best ever year for Mercedes-Benz India.
On that note, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.